Despite a beyond tumultuous season, somehow Chelsea have found themselves in the FA Cup final against Man City on Saturday. Callum McFarlane took the press conference today and we've got some injury updates. We know who's going to be available for the match and we've done a little predicted starting 11. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today, that means taking a little look. I haven't done a match preview for a while, actually. I've been pretty wrapped up in the comparisons recently. But today we're going to be taking a look at Callum McFarlane's press conference, the important information that came out of it, and who I think might start in the game. So let's just get straight into it. Callum McFarlane is hopeful that Pedro Neto, Alejandro Garnacho and Robert Sanchez will be fit to face Man City in Saturday's FA Cup final. So it's good news. It's just a few extra players. I don't really think it makes a huge difference. Robert Sanchez in particular is probably the ideal starting keeper. Obviously, we'll get into my 11 in a minute. But Alejandro Garnacho, okay, he's ready, but do I think he's going to start? Probably not. Pedro Neto, I think, might be quite useful coming off of the bench to inject a bit of pace and legs into the game if things aren't going the way we want later on. They probably almost definitely won't be. But yeah, okay, Pedro, Garnacho, Sanchez available for the game, so cool, I guess. Also, Callum McFarlane was asked about the health of Levi Colwill and Reece James. He actually spent quite a long time talking about Levi Colwill, but Justin, James and Colwill have trained this week, McFarlane. So he kind of spoke a bit about both of them. He said he's really happy with how they've been training. He referenced Levi Colwill's performance against Liverpool several times, and it was great, especially considering how long he's been out for, and it was such a big game. Huge game for us. Not that the point really makes a difference at this point, does it? We're going to finish in beyond mid-table obscurity at the very best. But at the same time, just for the FA Cup final, which is the only flowers we have the possibility of winning this season, having Levi Colwill in for that's going to be really, really important. So they're the players that are going to be available, and I just wanted to check out this. This is a table of our head-to-heads with Man City since the last time we beat them, which was in the Champions League final. What's that, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? We haven't beat them in such a long time. Reds are losses, Blues are draws, and Greens is a win. So the last time we beat them, Champions League final. We've lost 10 times and managed to scrape 3 draws, one of which was with Callum McFarlane in charge. So there... Oh, it's brutal, isn't it? It's so brutal. Things have been bad for such a long time. But that's kind of where we are. So the odds are stacked against us. I think it's fair to say Callum McFarlane's got a massive job, but it's a final, right? It's a final, and that is different, you know. We had a worse team than Man City when we beat them in the Champions League. We had Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, and neither of these guys were doing particularly well. Thomas Tuchel just managed to marshal our defence to be really good. Kai Havertz took advantage of the one opportunity that we got, and, you know, the rest is history. So can Callum McFarlane orchestrate a cup win with this team that we've got at the moment? I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? It's very, very weird, because I think our attackers are largely better, like Cole Palmer, João Pedro. I mean, I'd love to have had those guys in the Champions League winning season, but it's not just about that. It's about fight and togetherness and spirit. All the intangibles enter a cup final because there's so much feeling behind it, right? So that's the news and the unfortunate head-to-head 10 losses, 3 draws in the last 5 years against Man City. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. But let's move on to my predicted starting 11 with that news in mind for this game. So we'll go bottom to top, but you might notice I have gone with the 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3, whatever you want to call it. Largely because that's what we played in the Liverpool game, and that makes sense when you're expecting to come up against attacking opposition that are significantly better than you, and your defenders aren't exactly amazing, right? So, bottom to top, Robert Sanchez in goal. He's fit. I imagine he plays. I have mixed feelings about Robert Sanchez in general. It's not that I don't think he can be good on his day. It's just that for me, he's been dropped every single season for the last 3 seasons, and he was the third choice keeper at Brighton when he moved over. He has improved. I'm not saying that he hasn't improved, but long term, I don't think he's the guy, essentially. Regardless of how good he's been this season, I think the fact that he can't keep it together is a problem, and that has been a problem under 3-4 managers now. Do you know what I mean? It's not just this one time. It's like this is a recurring theme, and unfortunately Rob Sanchez occasionally makes the little whoopsie and the odd bozo moment, but for this game it has to be him, because you have to look at him and Philip Jorgensen this season and say, right, Robert Sanchez obviously been much better than Philip Jorgensen, much better shot stopper. If he's not being asked to play with the ball at his feet, then maybe we'll be all right. The back 3, I've gone for Levi Colwill in the centre. That, you know, especially with how much Callum McFarlane was talking about him in the press conference, that just seems to make sense. Trevor Chalobah on the right-hand side and Yorol Hato on the left-hand side. I don't really want to see Tosin Adarabioyo. I don't really want to see Benoit Badiashile. I think this game's a little bit too big for Josh. Hato maybe is the outlier here in terms of like, does it make sense? But I think he's performed really well recently. Wesley Fofana probably is a good chance Wesley Fofana gets in this as well. But for me, it's Trevor Chalobah. So tell me what you think about the back three, guys. Would you have Fofana over Chalobah? Would you have Badiashile or Tosin over the likes of Hato? Or would you have Fofana and Chalobah flanking Levi Colwill in that back three? The four midfielders, technically, but we've got the two wing backs. Marco Correa has been better recently, 100%, and on his best day can win a game, can score a goal. Really, really, really good player in the grand scheme of things. So hopefully he turns up on a good day. I've gone for Malagusto on the right wing back, and I know that will cause groans from a lot of people. But I think if we're going to go with this three at the back, which is the thing I've predicted, he probably is the best option at the moment. Other than Reece James, who you might see, I've moved into the midfield because I just think that, we need a solid physical midfield. And that was something that Maresca used to say, right? It's like, when I play Reece James in midfield, it's because I want more physicality. I think we need that physicality at the moment, especially, we just need to stock up at the back, don't we? It's essentially what I've been thinking. We need to stock up at the back to try and stop the likes of Doku, who's been on fire recently, Rayan Cherki, who's just absolutely brilliant, and obviously Erling Haaland as well. So to give ourselves a chance, I've put loads of defenders in. And even aside from that, Reece James is a great midfielder and he's got the technical quality. He can score a goal, he can win a game. Having him on the pitch as our captain is always really, really important. He's trained well this week, as per Callum McFarlane at the press conference. So yeah, for me, Reece James' partner is obviously Moises Caicedo in that midfield. And honestly, the only one I'm looking at there and I'm a little bit not sure about is Malagusto. Malagusto has just been really hot and cold recently. He either has great games or bad games. He just disappears. So I'm hoping that he turns up on one of his good games. And I'm not convinced Reece James would be better suited in that position in this formation than he would in the centre at the moment, to be completely honest. There's several permutations you could do with this. Andre Santos started the last game. Romeo Lavia has been fit for a little while, but I just think we've got to put our best foot forward. And Reece James in midfield, for me, is putting our best foot forward. We get into the two half-space players in Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer. I don't love Enzo Fernandez in this half-space role, but he scores goals. He's scoring goals at the moment. He's chasing João Pedro. Not really chasing, but I think pretty sure he's second to João Pedro as our top scorer for this season. He scored against Liverpool. He scored a few goals recently, and it just seems to make sense rather than necessarily relying on him to do the deep stuff and the defensive work. When we've got Reece James there, we've got Moises Caicedo, we've got Marco Correa, who probably can invert into midfield as well. Putting Enzo Fernandez in that first left half space just seems like the best idea based on the squad that we've got and what we can put together. It needs to be about resolute defending for me, and you kind of need to have Enzo Fernandez on the pitch at the moment just because of the form that he's been in. Cole Palmer, not been amazing recently. Still a far cry from the Cole Palmer that we all want to see, but he still is easily the best option to play in that role. Maybe there's an argument for Pedro Neto, but I just don't think I've ever got it in me to put Pedro Neto in a formation over Cole Palmer because we know what Cole Palmer can do. And also, it's his old team. Maybe there's a bit of narrative there. Maybe there's a little story where you remember what we in the first season we got him. It was like City's boy is Chelsea's man. Maybe he can channel a little bit of that to try and get one over on his old team. We need to see Cole Palmer get back to his best soon anyway, and also he does link up well with who I've put in the striker role, obviously João Pedro. The sad thing about all of this is if we don't do well, all we've got to do to bring on is Liam Delap, Alejandro Garnacho, and guys that aren't necessarily going to change the game. So, we need to go with our strongest starting 11. To me, at the moment, I think this is our strongest starting 11, albeit I'm not 100% sure. So, guys, let me know. A quick run through. Rob Sanchez in goal. Hato, Levi Colwill, Trevor Chalobah as a back three. Cucurella, Reece James, Moises Caicedo, and Malagusto playing as kind of a midfield and wing backs. Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer in the half spaces behind the striker, and João Pedro up top. João Pedro is the guy that we're going to rely on to get us a goal in this game, isn't it? Completely honest. So you'd think, based on recent form, João Pedro and Enzo Fernandez are the two best scorers. You put them as far front as you can, get them as close to the goal as you possibly can, and maybe something works out for us. It's such a huge game. We can win this. Do you know what I mean? We absolutely can win this. Like I say, we had a worse team than City when we beat them in the in the Champions League, but we had a much better manager at the time as well. And, you know, I think that Callum McFarlane's going to get one over on Pep? I'm not 100% sure, but you never know what can happen. So, guys, that's it. That is my little it was just a short one today. That's my little preview and my predicted starting 11 for the FA Cup final. I would love to know what you guys think. Get your starting 11s in the comments. Rip mine to shreds or agree with it, however you feel about it. Let's just have a chat. It's a massive game. This is the last opportunity for us to do anything this season, because the league is dead for us and this is all we've got left. And this might be our only hopes of getting any European football next season as well, with the winners of the FA Cup getting into the Europa League. And guys, if you made it this far into my FA Cup final preview, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Nice one, guys. I'll be back soon. I'm really, really looking forward to this one. It feels, you know, it's an exciting game because it's just the last thing we've got to play for, isn't it? Thank you very much for sticking around until the end of the video if you did, and I'll catch up with you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.